the best in this sport. Whether you like it or not, learn to love it because it's the best thing going today. Woo!
Welcome in, Georgia Players Section live tonight here with Tavarres King, Knowshon Moreno here on the UGA Sports YouTube channel. Cheers, my fellas.
Yes,
and guys, I'm excited about this episode. Last week started off with a big time guest with Todd Gurley. Tonight it's going to be us. We're going to do a format where we try to have a guest every other week. So we'll have something cooked up for you with a guest next week. But listen, we're going to be doing the Lord's work over here for Georgia fans this week. We're going to be looking ahead, because that national championship's already come and gone for a lot of these people. They're already thinking about, can Georgia three-peat? And I know that we've been kind of digging into it this week about Georgia's offense. So first of all, man, TK, Knowshon, you don't know this. TK, I was talking to him last night. I was asking him, should I go? I'm trying to up my shoe game. Okay, I'm trying to up my shoe game a little bit. And I asked him if I should go with the Jordan 1 mids or the Jordan 1 lows on there. So before we let TK tell you what he told us, what would you go with? Would you go with the Jordan 1 mids or would you go with the lows? What are you rocking over there?
Me?
Yeah.
Shoot. You know what? I ain't gonna even lie. I don't even be knowing the numbers like that. I don't even know numbers like that.
You're wearing some J's. Are you going with the low cut J's or the mid cut J's?
It's gonna be low cut.
Okay, that's what TK told me, and my wife over there, Jordan's like, I told you TK was going to say that.
hey, look. I mean, I can go check. I can go check the gram. You can go check anything. The boy be clean. I'll be clean. So I'm gonna point you in the right direction in the fashion world. But yeah, Sauce, you was right with the low game. Y'all see Blayne came in here with the button up today. Look, he didn't tell us we was gonna have to switch the attire up.
Listen, I told him it's straight from work over here. Look at the hurdle out over there.
We selling those?
Hey,
I mean,
we'll get something going over here. Drop where lots of people watching right now. Drop where you're watching from in the comments. Let us know. Also, any questions you guys have as we're talking through the 2023 Georgia Bulldog offense look ahead here, the preview of Georgia's offense in 2023. Any questions you have, anything you want us to address, let us know. But TK, Knowshon, and myself have kind of dove into looking at the guys that are going to be coming onto the roster or already on the roster for Georgia in 2023 offensively. And we are excited to be breaking it down for you. We got Eric Odom from Macon, Georgia in here watching. And of course, I know we got our man, Andy Stowe. He said, let's do it, ready for number 3. Andy's ready for that three-peat over there is what he's looking for. Rep Womack in with it. He said he's ready for Deuce. He's talking about Deuce Robinson, 2023 that isn't even technically committed to Georgia yet. It looks like it's trending that way. And if you're
too many Robinsons, man, it's a renegade.
Be like Swiss Family Robinson over here. What's going on? Branson Robinson, a lot of Robinsons. Roderick could be Deuce. So a lot of Robinsons could be in store for Georgia in 2023. But TK, Knowshon, I wanted to get your guys' opinion. Of course, we would be remiss if we didn't kind of look back. And we're going to have some future segments, coming up. And Knowshon, this may fit into to the good future Knowshon Notes segment when we go in there. But I heard a little scuttle today on ESPN. Mel Kiper, NFL draft guru, said he thinks old Stetson Bennett can go as high as the 3rd round. I mean, my goodness.
I didn't see that one. I thought you were talking about Carter. Hold on.
He had them 2 boys up that's gonna go up there, but I did see the stat going. May go
3rd round to who?
As early as the 3rd. Nobody.
Guess what? There has not been. Guess who the last Georgia quarterback to go in the top 3 rounds was?
Staff.
Matthew Stafford, who you played with, Knowshon. So Stetson Bennett, and there has not been a Manning Award winner. Stetson Bennett also won the Manning Award recently from the Manning family, and the Sugar Bowl hands that out every year. They take into account postseason play as well, is what Archie Manning said, and that's why Stetson won it. But there has not been a Manning Award winner slip past the third round. So what's your thoughts?
That's interesting to me. I'll start. No, what's your thoughts? Let me just jump in. I mean, third round. I mean, he accomplished a lot in college, man. Can't take that from him. Okay. Because I'm starting to think about Tebow. What round did Tebow go? He went third? Second? I feel like he was first.
Tebow was in the first round. He got drafted in the first round.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, man. Third, I mean, I guess I could kind of put him there. I'm just thinking about Tebow because we all knew that he couldn't throw the rock. He was just well accomplished in college and know that he was going to get the job done. Like, I don't know what Josh was thinking about, but all right, Josh McDaniels, that is. But I'll go down to even 5, 4, 5. You know what I mean? Third, but
no,
I mean,
not
we'll
third
see.
overall, third round.
No, I know. I'm thinking 5th round. I'm thinking 4th round.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I got it.
Third round is kind of early, but maybe they're just looking at the body of work that he did in college, and you can't take that away from him.
All right, and TK, what's your thoughts on it?
I mean, I agree with it. Honestly, like the body of work, Knowshon, you just mentioned the body of work that he put in goes a long way, number one. And then 2, you got on that list, there was 4 quarterbacks that went before him in the first round. So
he's like
there's going to be some guys. There's going to be some guys taken off the board. So I could see that happening for sure. I mean, he's a guy that I see playing a long time because of the cognitive ability. Because
of be a backup.
Oh yeah, Chase Daniel style. And Chase Daniels made a lot. Chase Daniel has made a crap ton of money, bro. with very few snaps, but he's a reliable cat. He's a reliable guy that knows the game, that knows certain offenses. And I could see Stetson coming into a place, picking up an offense, learning the ins and outs of it, and just being that guy. And if he gets a chance, shit, who knows? Except for Georgia folks, we know.
See, I know he plays and he balls. I'm just more thinking about the physical attributes of him. You know what I mean? Like how I would love, because they're gonna invite him to the combine. They have to. I want to see how he's zipping that ball, an NFL ball around, in that combine.
Well, if we're gonna go back like that, then let's do a comparison. Let's. What is Drew Brees, and that's high praise. Hell yes, that's high praise. What does Drew Brees have that like from a, just side by side?
Stetson probably has a little bit more because he could do a little bit with his legs, is what exactly. I'm saying. If I would say what in that instant, but I feel like Brees had that arm though. Brees for real had that arm out there.
True. Yeah, people are gonna. Mel Kiper even said it today. He said, "Hey, anybody that's 6 foot tall or less and accurate, we're gonna compare them to Drew Brees." That's pretty much how it's gonna be compared. And then, rightfully or not, people are gonna compare Bryce Young to like Russell Wilson or something. But they're 2 totally different quarterbacks. It's just how people like to typecast things and stuff like that. It's crazy. But here's the thing. Chris Rock says on here, he says, if I compare Bryce Young to Stetson, I see similar height. Both are elusive. Both are similarly accurate. Both arm strength. One is now that's the separator.
Yeah, that's what's going to separate.
Stetson's got a strong. I don't think that the argument that Stetson has there was a comment out there one time that Stetson had a pop gun arm or something like that. Listen, I think Stetson's got plenty of strong arm. We've seen him lay it out there in games, but Bryce has that kind of arm that it looks like it's just a little flick. It's just a little flick, and then it's out of there. Like it just comes out.
Quick release.
Comes out hot. It comes out hot. You know what I'm saying? But over there, listen, I think everybody's excited to see where Stetson will go in the NFL. He certainly acquitted himself quite well towards the end of his Georgia Bulldog career. And listen, you can't argue with the results. So here we go. Let's tell everybody, if you're just tuning in, this is Georgia Players Section with Tavarres and Knowshon. Listen, you see the SEC here in the name. It's because we not only talk Georgia football on here, we also talk about everything else around the SEC. And tonight, what we're doing is we're going to be previewing the 2023 Georgia offense and also the challenges that each position group may face on the 2023 schedule with SEC defenses they're going to come up against. Because, listen, we're not going to sugarcoat anything. Georgia should absolutely run through their non-conference this year with that Oklahoma game getting tossed out because the SEC made them and having to replace it with Ball State. But, guys, we talked about before, ironically, one of the toughest games Georgia had all year was Kent State. Nobody expected that. So you can't take any game for granted. But my goodness, what's your guys' thoughts without diving right into the specifics? What's your guys' thoughts on, replacing Stetson Bennett, some offensive linemen, this Georgia offense in 2023, just on surface level?
Yeah, just surface. Obviously, got to replace Stetson, so the quarterback battle is going to be huge. Got to see what's happening there. OL, definitely some major places to field. We all know it starts up front, and then out wide. For me, I mean, obviously losing AD's big, huge. Kiera's played a big role as well. So I think some guys are going to have to emerge. I think there'll be a little competition there for sure. But yeah, I think it's going to be an interesting year. I think there's going to be a lot of competition going on this spring for sure.
Knowshon, it seems like this is the first year where Georgia still has. They have a lot of experience coming back, but excited to see these youngins coming in too. A lot of talent coming in over here, offensive skill wise.
Yeah, exactly. Just the same thing with TK, man. I'm really gonna be watching that quarterback battle very closely because, I mean, they're all very young. They all don't have the experience. So yeah, they get bits and pieces of scraps at the end of the games when we're up big, but that ain't the real deal Holyfield. So I'm going to be watching that battle to see where that goes. Even the running back battle all around. I think that we have a lot of holes that we have to fill, but we have some real decent players that either didn't get a lot of time last year or some new guys coming in. So excited to see it and excited to see if this defense can, fill those big voids that's going to be on the other side of the ball as well. So we'll see.
Absolutely. So what we'll do is we will start with TK here. TK, you really, as a former Georgia wide receiver, hey, we got to mention too now, listen, Brock Bowers was making TK, I think, a little bit nervous in that TCU game because he kept racking up yards and he was getting close to that season mark that TK had. TK's for those of you who don't know, Tavarres has the second highest output by any receiver in a single season in Georgia history, 950 yards, just shy of that 1,000 mark. So a guy that's well qualified to know what you're looking at, and you also still train wide receivers, do some coaching. So you really dove into this wide receiver group. TK, tell us from former Georgia receiver, NFL receiver, and current coach, what do you see out of this group that's coming back for Georgia and coming in the 2023 season?
Man, it's a really, really strong group. I do like that we've got like 5 guys that have played significant snaps in Ladd and Dylan Bell, Rosemary Jack Saint, as well as Arian. So I love that. But I want to dive into, the specifics a little bit about, each of those cats. As I mentioned earlier, I definitely for sure think it's going to be a receiver competition. After this cat, I think, hear me out. I think Ladd, other than a 3-game skid, I think that he proved that he's more than a number 2 receiver. I think that, that 3-game skid is going to help him, as it did, throughout the year. But I think that the way that he dealt with that adversity is only going to, help him emerge as a leader of that group. And that's what he is. I mentioned Rosemy-Jacksaint. I think getting him back is huge. I think losing AD and his return is just monstrous. He made hella plays. He made hella plays for us on third down. I think he's a big body that can go up and get that thing in the red zone. I think he's I think he's one of those guys that's going to be in that competition. To see who's going to be the other side of Ladd, because Ladd is a dude. Let me backpedal and go back to Ladd. It ain't he's got vision. He can run the intermediate routes and he can take the top off the defense. And it's not that, oh, the white boy just snuck by me. It ain't one of them. He snuck me. It's not one of those, because we've seen. It's not one of those. It's not. It's not. I gotta
tell you, Jim. That Ladd donkey. He's sneaky athletic. You know what I'm saying? He'll get by you in a hurry.
Yeah, it's definitely not one of those. And I know it's not one of those because you can turn on the tape and you can see it time and time again. So again,
that's only one guy though, right? I mean, we don't got no more experience besides him though.
You got
Rosemy-Jacksaint.
You got Rosemy-Jack, and then I was getting to Arian Smith, who I think, yeah. I mean, Rosemy made a couple plays for us. That was big.
That Tennessee catch in the end zone, huge. Going up and coming down with 1 foot. I mean,
huge,
unreal,
huge play. So you see it. You see the gifts. You see the ability there. Arian Smith, obviously, we've seen what.
Yeah, like Arian. Yeah.
We've seen what this kid. Boy, come on now. That was the next word that was about to be out my mouth. Hey, look here, what? Hey, speed kills, man. It's something you can't coach. It's something you can't teach. And he has it, bro. So what I would love to see from him is for him to develop like a more of an intermediate route game. Because if you can imagine getting this cat on drags and meshes and getting the ball in his hand early and having him turn up the sideline, it's just a 60 indoor 60 outdoor 60 meter. But man, he's special. You got Anthony Evans and Tyler Williams, 2 kids coming in that I think are going to be super, super gifted. Tyler Williams, I'm on the phone with Blayne. Blayne talking about, speaks to this. You talking about, you think he could be the X receiver?
I mean, he's going to play X, and you got Rosemy-Jacksaint, who's going to be. He's going to be the start next. I mean, just because he's been there, he knows the offense and things like that with Rosemy-Jacksaint, but you need depth behind him. Listen, we all know what's going on with Rod Thomas, and we're not even going to speak on that because that's in a legal matter, and who knows what will happen there. But behind him, there's talent, but there's no experience. Like Jackson Meeks, he's been in the system, hadn't really played a ton. But listen, he's been around and been there. Denylon Morissette, he was hurt most of the year last year. So here comes Tyler Williams, who's 6'2", 6'3", has more wiggle than you think too. They used him on tunnel screens and things like that at Lakeland, but he is a big body that can go up and use his body to keep the ball away from defenders. And TK is an X receiver. When the quarterback, looks out there and gives you the you can't see me, the John Cena over there.
Love it.
You're running the 9. I mean, you gotta be able to use your body, stack him, and be able to catch it over that outside shoulder. And I think Tyler Williams will be able to do that.
Yeah, 100%. And Knowshon, I didn't mention this cat. Dominic Lovett. We got a Mizzou guy. You need to get his jersey.
Right.
You got to get his jersey. Whatever number he is, you got to get his jersey. Because
he balled out over there.
We know how you like the Mizzou cats. But yeah, he did ball, bro. He's gonna be. I think he's gonna be special for us. You talk about an X receiver. I think he can be that. He could play that role. Watching that tape, he was always open, always open. Like I'm like, I had to scroll it back. Like, how does cat get that open? So, I think Todd Monken is gonna have another weapon in him to utilize and to do some special things with. So I'm interested to see him get the ball in his hand early. Like on a rack situation, because he's one of those cats that could take a slant, 60. So, I mean, I think we got some pieces, bro, and it's going to be interesting to see, those pieces come together during the spring. And I got one for y'all out here.
What?
My people. Hear me out. The kid is special. I know he probably ain't, coming over to the good side, but he's this special. You cut the tape on his high school tape. You cut his tape on, he's that dude. Smoke Bowie could come over there and get active as a receiver.
All right, say it with your chest now. Look into the camera and tell Kirby what you want, TK.
Man, I can see. Listen, Kirby, I could see Smoke Bowie coming over, catching the tunnel screen, doing some little Champ Bailey stuff. I saw some film with Champ Bailey on YouTube. I saw some film with Champ Bailey on YouTube being utilized versus. And you saw that firsthand. So hey, hear me out. Hear me out.
Nah, definitely a lot of talent over there for sure, but it's not those big game experience players. Maybe here and there, but just not many. That's all I was saying. But a lot of talent. I agree.
It's gonna be interesting, bro. We've got pieces, but to go back to what I was saying, competition.
Love it.
And that's what it's gonna be all spring. And hell, that's what Kirby preaches. That's what we thrive on. That's what we love. So I think that group, you've got a solid 8 guys right there that could go. So I think that group's gonna gel and emerge, and we'll see, man. We'll see who comes out as that X receiver and see who comes out, as a true number one.
Knowshon, we talk all the time about, okay, well, here, that's what Georgia has at receiver. I messaged you earlier today and gave you a little good news. For those of you who don't know, Knowshon's like second team, his pseudo team that he like kind of fell in love with this past year was the Missouri Tigers. He kept telling people all before the year, he's like, listen, Missouri just a lot of people problems, and I'll be dang if they didn't come in there and Georgia almost lose to them up there. But Knowshon, I told you they're returning 10 starters. 10 starters that are going to be seniors. Okay. They're going to have 10 seniors starting on that defense over there. So I think that secondary, and the one that's not a senior is Enos Rakestraw back on the back end. He's a junior. I think that's a team that you got to look at that can be really good defensively, and that may give Georgia. Now they're at home. Georgia gets them at home, but that could be a struggle in the passing game.
Right. Yeah. I mean, when I looked at Missouri before the season started, before the season began, I was just looking at, I was like, bro, yeah, they were getting blown out. Yeah, they would, they weren't winning many games, but they were getting that young experience early. And I was like, bro, all right, now they're all coming back as juniors. They got that experience of, getting smacked around a little bit. Let's see how they come out now. Boom. We saw how Missouri played this whole season. They played really, really hard. They played up to their competition. So yeah, Blayne, same thing for this year. Now those same guys, now they're seniors, going into the senior year, I'm thinking about a lot of those guys are on their corners, at their corners that have a lot of that game experience. I'm thinking of Jalen Charlie's right now, one of the guys that he's a corner DB, and he got the most tackles on their team, which is crazy, So he got that game experience. So it's going to be interesting to see. We talked about the wide receiver leaving, love it. So that's definitely going to hurt Brady Cook, I feel like, because that was his main piece, When he almost hit that 1,000-yard mark. So, but we know
they're defensively, that is like that. I think that's one of the bigger challenges. Now, listen, everybody's already poking fun at Georgia doesn't play anybody in 2023 and stuff like that. But defensively, we're just comparing units. Okay. Georgia's wide receiver is going to be very talented. They're going to be very fast. Listen, TK, Knowshon, if Georgia was putting together a 4x100 team, they could throw out Anthony Evans and CJ Smith and Arian Smith. All three of them run a 10-2 or under in the 100-meter dash, can absolutely fly. And Yazid Haynes is a freshman coming in from Pennsylvania. He runs a laser timed 4.3940. I mean, my goodness, it's just speed galore, and that's not even some of the guys who are going to be more of the technicians in there too. But no, I think the wide receiver group is going to be deep. But to your point, Knowshon, the experience there's no substitute for experience, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's got to be gathered and stuff like that. But I do think that's going to be a talented group. Knowshon, you dove into the running backs. Of course, everybody knows Kendall Milton and Dejan Edwards coming back, but may have saw a little glimpse of something in that national championship game there at the end with old 22 Branson Robinson doing the same. What do you think about the running backs in 2023?
Yeah, man. We all know that Kenny Mack was that guy last year. I mean, a guy that almost got to that 1,000 mark threshold in yards rushing. But he didn't not only just do that, bro. He had 500 plus receiving. You know what I mean? He was that threat, that back that can threaten you with the pass in the passing game and with his hands. You know what I mean? And I didn't really see much of that from Dijon and Kendall Milton. You know what I mean? Last year, they didn't really threaten the defense with their hands. You know what I mean? So I definitely want to see those guys, develop that. I'm not saying they can't do it, but we just didn't see a lot of it. Kenny Mack was out.
Tim Collins is asking you right there. He said, "Do we have a running back that will be able to catch like Kenny Mack?"
No.
Listen, I don't know that anybody can catch like Kenny Mack. He's talented dude.
He's special, man.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. 500 yards plus, receiving. So he posed a really big threat for defenses. You know what I mean? That they had to now not only keep their eye on all the receivers, all the tight ends we have. Now we can threaten you with that back too, out the backfield. So losing him is a big void that we have to fill. And I got to see if those guys can do it. But they were able to run the ball pretty well when they got their chance. Edwards, he got up there in the 700 mark, and he was averaging 5.5, I think, yards. So that's not bad, man. So he take advantage. Yeah, tough like yard, tough little joker. I like him. I definitely want to see him run a little tougher through those between the tackles, though. We know he got that speed, and yeah, he can get up in there, but I want to see him smacking and getting up in there, you know what I mean? Getting that extra 2 or 3 yards and continue to do those things. And then Kendall Milton, I really should be saying that about him because he needs to be using that size and really be showing like, yo, y'all going to be paying if y'all come in here and want to tackle me. And so he had a decent season as well. Seven
banged up a little,
carry.
Right?
Yeah, banged up a little bit. Didn't get. Sorry, I heard someone outside my house. You heard that?
Yeah, you got some music going on. Yeah, a little party going on over there. But now listen,
I don't like that, man. You got to go to the closet real quick. You know what's in that closet. Anyway, let me get back to the backs. But bro, we talked about the wide receivers. All right, cool. It's Amazon. That's crazy.
Amazon's playing some wild now.
Hey, Amazon playing with fire, ain't they?
Yeah, seriously, my fault. So look, and then Branson, man, we talked about the competition. We talked about competition at the wide receiver and all this talent coming in. Bro, Branson showed that he's ready for the big stage. He came in that championship, got his tugs. And throughout the season, when he got his shot, he went in there and did his thing on less carries than Milton and Edwards. You know what I mean? And averaged like 4-point-something yards per carry, but that's because his touches wasn't that many. You know what I mean? So that competition from the back end is going to be huge for us. And then you got a young guy like Roderick Robinson coming in, another young cat that can run the rock. And he shows he got a lot of speed. No showing time. Bro.
High standards. Listen, Knowshon is hard to.
They do say it's RBU. I mean,
exactly, man. You gotta go over and compete. And I think about my days too. I came in and I redshirted my freshman year. We had Thomas Brown, Craig Lumpkin, Danny Ware, right? All juniors at the time. I get in there. I redshirt that year. Danny leaves. And then it's really me and Thomas Brown, me and TB. But now you're talking about a young cat that goes in there and takes advantage of his opportunity and becomes the starter. That can easily happen with Branson because he's shown that he's able to carry the load. He can run hard. And he can easily take that position from those other two guys if he had a great spring practice and spring training. So I feel like this competition for the running backs is going to be huge, and it's going to be a plus. And I can't wait to see who comes out ahead because it could easily be a Branson Robinson, honestly.
Yeah.
Knowshon, Chris Taylor, CT has a question for you. He says, Knowshon, is running back a position where incoming freshmen can come in and contribute immediately, or are they coming in and waiting their turn? You talked about your experience, but why is that a lot of time? Tell people why maybe it's more than just running the ball. What else is involved at running back to maybe get to where you can play?
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of factors that come into it. The physical nature of this league, of the SEC, I mean, that definitely plays a factor. But if you're getting recruited by Georgia, they know that you can probably get out there and compete, and you can withstand all that physical nature of the SEC. And
well,
it's more than
blitz pickup, probably like blitz
pickup for sure. Big pickup is a huge thing, and being able to catch that rock. I mean, I gotta talk about it. A running back that's not able just to run the raw. I mean, we can all run the rock. You gotta be able to catch that thing, and blitz pickup. We worked on that every day. That was a big thing. We had to protect Stafford. You know what I mean? So it was like, bro, we ain't let him get hit. So we did that with Coach Ball every day, and we prided ourselves in that. We bouncing. We bouncing out of it. We bouncing. But in my instance, in my scenario, in my case, just like in the Branson's case, it seems like he had guys in front of him that were able to get the job done. They were older classmen, and they didn't have to burn his red shirt or whatever. They had to use him that year. He came in and had his little runs and here and there, but they didn't have to use him like they needed to. Now they're gonna use him, so I wouldn't be shocked if he's a starter, honestly.
Yeah, Greg Goose says, what are the thoughts on Andrew Paul? Wanting to see what he can do coming off injury. Listen, there were rave reports about Andrew Paul, what he was doing in camp, but as a true freshman last year before he tore his ACL. But guys, I mean, you've had knee injury, and you know y'all have known several guys that have had them. It's getting that confidence back in that knee. That's the issue. But he's a talented young man.
Yeah, definitely talented. And like you said, man, I mean, the knee thing it's definitely something to come back from. And then you got the other guys in that room that's continuing to get better and continue to show progress. So it makes your journey tough. So, but that's the nature of the competition and nature of the game. And I believe he'll battle back and he'll get his opportunities. And that's the thing. Once you get that opportunity, you got to make something of it.
And we'd be remiss if we didn't mention Roderick Robinson, who's like 6'2", 200.
Said Roger. Before I got cut off, I was talking about Roger. Go ahead.
Derrick Henry Jr.
Yeah, I like him too. But you know what was so surprising about him is that he shows that speed. He's surprisingly fast. I saw one time that he hit the sideline and the safety took a mean angle. I'm talking about a mean one. I was like, man, that was a mean angle. And he ran by him. I was like, wow, that's surprisingly fast.
You're talking about he's coming downhill at him and he's still over.
He was gone. And it kind of reminds me, I would have liked to have seen him run some people over, show that toughness, maybe make someone miss with the juke move. But it kind of reminded me of my high school tape, even though I did show a little juke here and there. It was like I didn't really need to do it. It was like getting to the open spot. You're gonna bounce off me. I'm gonna hit you with a stiff, and I'm gonna be gone. So I'll be interested to see if he got that wiggle, like I would like to see from a running back. But everything else, all the other attributes, hold up.
But listen, you taught a bunch about running backs. Listen, we're gonna have some things in this show that are gonna become a regular part of it. Okay, and one of them is gonna be. We're going to make some predictions here, and we're going to stand on them with our 2 feet, okay? So we're going to stand on these predictions with 2 feet.
10 toes
down.
Yeah, 10 toes down. So it's time for a little Dos Zapatos.
She don't want that 2-footed bad boy. She don't want that Dos Zapatos animal. You know what I'm saying?
Listen, Dos Zapatos prediction, 2 feet on it right here.
Ooh,
I'm telling you, Branson Robinson's going to be the number 1 back before it's all over with. And he's going to lead the team in rushing.
That ain't no boy.
How could you going to just take what I just said and use it as about them?
I'm telling you, he's going to lead the team in rushing. He's not just going to be the starter. I think he's going to have the most yards.
He gonna have.
I can see that because the carries. Listen, he only had 68 carries, 330 yards. Now, Milton, he had 85 carries for only 592. So, I mean, you give Branson those extra little carries, 20 more carries. I feel like he'll pass Milton.
Well, listen, and that's the thing. I don't even necessarily think he has to be the starting back to have the most yards because what you said. You can't bring Branson Robinson down. And guess what? There's going to be times where Georgia's killing some of these teams early in the year, And if Branson is technically going into it, the third back, he's going to get some of those carries at the end. You know what he's going to do? He's going to run over some safety from a group of 5 school and leave him with his cleat marks in his forehead and run down and score a touchdown and get some of those yardage. And then all those coaches on the sideline will be like, oh, we gotta put this guy a little more. And
they're gonna see that in camp.
Yeah, I was about to say they're gonna find that out early, bro. They're gonna know the competition, bro. The competition is high in camp in spring. Them boys gonna be the juice is gonna be flowing. They know what time it is.
How do you get any bigger than he is, bro? That boy is like yoked. Little Jamal Thomas. Jamal Anderson? No, Jamal Anderson, Jamal Thomas. What was his name?
For the
Ravens.
Jamal Anderson played at Tennessee and then played for the Ravens. Yeah, he was huge. But I mean, he's a freak, just like Nick Chubb in terms of physicality. I mean, that's exactly who he just looks like Chubb.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. But yeah, I think for sure the running back position. Now let me give a little preview of a group that I think that's on Georgia's schedule that could be tough to run the football against because they're always well coached.
Here we go again.
I already know what he's about to say.
What was the game last season? The first game of the season, you were talking all that junk, and they got smacked up. Oh, it was a different team. Though. It was Florida versus who was it?
Utah.
I said Utah. I said Utah was going to beat Florida last year. I still think Utah is going to beat Florida this year. Upcoming year. I think the team that's going to be maybe the hardest to run on because of 2 studs they have in the middle defensively would be Kentucky with Deion Walker and Octavius Oxendine coming back. Deion Walker, guys, he's 6 foot. He's 6'7", like 350 something pounds. He's huge. I mean, this guy's monstrous. Georgia recruited him heavily. And he ends up going to Kentucky. Octavius Oxendine.
He's bigger than Bear.
Yeah, no, he's a big dude. He's bigger. Like he's taller. He's 6'7", 6'8", carrying. You remember how I said Jordan Davis was like a breezer on roller skates going downhill like that. That's what this guy does. Like he blocks out the sun when he comes in there. And I think Kentucky's going to be really hard to run on. They got talented guys coming up in that system. Keyshawn Silver is going to be a guy that was highly recruited out there. Khalil Saunders is another guy at defensive end that didn't get all the playing time for him, but he's going to kind of step in. So that's one to circle when it comes to the rushing game and who could give problems. Now, also, you have to mention as part of Georgia's rushing game, and we didn't even mention it in the passing game, TK. Georgia got 2 tight ends, really 4 if you can. But Brock Bowers is basically the best receiver on the team, and him and Oscar Delp are – Oscar Delp, literally, if Oscar Delp was on just about any other roster in college football, he'd be the guy. And
100%, bro. It's going to be another fun year, and I had notes on those casts too. I was – in my notes it says I should have talked about this dude first. Talking about Brock, because he's that dude. But yeah, I mean Oscar Delp too. Everybody knows about Brock. Everybody on this that I ain't even gotta talk about him. Oscar Delp is special, bro. He's another guy, big body that can come in, move people around. And he did that for us in the LSU game, and you saw that. So it's going to be another fun year in 12 personnel and 13 personnel because as you mentioned, you've got Pierce Sperling and my guy Lawson Lucky. You mentioned earlier in the show, I do a little training. I train Lawson Lucky from time to time. The kid is super gifted. He can get in and out of his breaks like a bank robbery, man. In and out of them things. Very special. Very special.
The thing that impresses me about Lawson when I went and saw him in person, that dude, he doesn't just – a lot of tight ends in high school, what are they waiting for? They're waiting for that play action over the middle, get them the rock. Lawson blocks his tail off. He's
a football player, bro. He enjoys the game. He has fun. Todd Hartley is going to have a lot of fun with that kid, bro. He's a genuine kid.
I something. Did Gilbert leave? Did I miss something?
Yes, sir.
Gilbert transferred out to Nebraska, but I mean, man, at this point –
Washington just took off.
Well, Washington's in the NFL. I mean, he's going to be a first-round pick. So Washington's going to be a first round pick.
Yeah, my fault. Yeah, he was older. My fault. For some reason, I felt like he left. Why did I see that?
Well, Gilbert did, but Washington's going to be a first round pick. Now, listen, in terms of safety matchups, again, you're talking about Missouri and Kentucky being the better safety matchups that they have. Listen, just some of these other defenses that they're going to have to play are going to have to improve a lot. Now, Tennessee will have a little bit better advantage just because they're going to be at home this game, late in the year up there. But man, they got shredded when Georgia played them. Their secondary did, and you have to feel if all things hold true, and it looks like Todd Monken's coming back and all that kind of stuff in this offense. It doesn't by that time. Whichever guy's the quarterback, it'll be late in the season, and that Monken's going to have lots of tape, TK, on how to carve up that Tennessee defense.
Yeah, that's the thing that I love about Coach Monken, bro. Week in and week out, he figures out ways to get his guys in special places. He figures out ways and holes in defenses, and you said it, bro. Versus Tennessee, bro, guys were just running scot-free, and it was pretty awesome. So it's I mean that's. We call those laughers because you just laugh because they're gonna be there. So yeah, man, I definitely foresee by that point in the season, Todd Monken to be dialing up a few laughers for sure.
Yeah, he better, but it still goes back to them quarterbacks. I know it'll be late in the season, like you said, Blayne, but
yeah, it starts there. Don't think we forgot about you, Blayne.
Yeah, I'm going to talk about a quarterback here, but before I do, we'll talk a little bit about the offensive line because we talked about running backs and the tight ends, and they're all working together. Running backs, tight ends in that run game. Of course, Georgia is going to be replacing Broderick Jones, who's going to be a first-round pick, maybe the first tackle taken overall in the draft. Yeah. Ernest Green is a guy they're looking at. He's coming off some back surgery in the offseason, so we'll see how that's going to go. They've got other guys that they could, Warren McClendon is off to the NFL. Amarius Mims has been playing right tackle. Could Amarius Mims possibly slide over and play left tackle? I mean, he's more comfortable at right. Of course, Tate Ratledge is coming back. Cedric Von Prawn, that one's huge. He comes back. That one's huge. So from center over the right side, the line is intact. But then, it's a question of who plays left tackle, who plays left guard. Xavier Truss has started before. Guys that you need to keep an eye on. Big body guys like Jared Wilson, Micah Morris, Dylan Fairchild. Dylan Fairchild was one of the best wrestlers the state of Georgia's seen in a long time, multiple time state champion from West Forsyth. And when they got that wrestling background, TK, them O-line guys, they get after you now. They put the Shenandoah on you. You don't even know what's happened. Like your head, and you don't even know what's going on.
That's like Ben Jones, bro. That at that center position being real nasty. And you mentioned it, getting our center back, getting him back is huge because we don't have a guy back there that's IDing the mic, that's making changes. That's going to be a role that I think, he's going to have to play this year. He's going to have to help Carson out or Brock or whoever it ends up being. He's going to have to help him get that line situated. We going right? Nope. Are we going to 52? No, we going to 54, sir. So there's going to be some communication early on that we're going to see probably. For sure, he is 100% a beast. So getting him back is monstrous. Just from a operational standpoint up front.
Greg Goose asks, how's Micah Morris coming along? Listen, Micah Morris was extremely talented coming out of South Georgia when he came in, and he's done is work on his body, and he's had a transformation. And listen, I think you'll see Micah Morris pushing for time at one of the guard spots. Of course, Jared Wilson involved as well. Another name to keep an eye on, a guy that can swing between center and tackle is Austin Blaskey. And Austin Blaskey is a guy who, they've used him as an extra blocker, almost like as a jumbo package tight end and stuff like that throughout the last season at different times. So he's a tough-nosed, hard-nosed guy that can come in and do some things. And then, of course, in terms of incoming freshmen, Monroe Freeling, one of the best tackle prospects in the country, played in the All-American game, Under Armour All-American game at the left tackle spot. He's a guy, guys, he's 6'7", and he can tie his shoelaces without bending over. That's how long his arms are. I mean, it's ridiculous. So, that kind of guy is who you want at a left tackle position one day. So we'll see how it ends up, but they'll all be, and we've been saving it for last. Okay. The quarterback battle. That's what everybody wants to know about. The names that you're familiar with: Carson Beck, going to be his 4th year in the system, Brock Vandagriff, and then Gunnar Stockton. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the deal. There's a lot of strong feelings out there. There's 3 very divided camps out there in the Georgia fan base. Everybody's already going to their corner and all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
But man alive, I tell you, when you look at Carson Beck, right? When you look at him on the hoof, 6'5", 215 pounds. When he comes in, I mean, he looks like the prototypical NFL quarterback. That's what he looks like. He looks like that guy. And he's got a tremendously strong arm. I think what you're looking at here is this job is Carson Beck's to lose. He's going to have the burden of being able to, come in there day one and, okay, Carson, show us you can lead, because there's been times in the past where Carson Beck has had the opportunity, back when JT Daniels got hurt in the Clemson game and they were going to start another quarterback for UAB. It was supposed to be Carson Beck that they were going to go with, but they got into practice and Todd Monken said that Stetson Bennett just absolutely ate Carson's lunch during practice that week. And they were just like, we've got to go with Stetson Bennett. And he ends up going off and throwing like 5 touchdowns in that game. But man, I think Carson is learned from that. And you saw this year in the past, what would Kirby and them do when they were in garbage time and a backup quarterback would come in? What used to happen before this year? Yeah, they turn around and just hand that thing off. Hand that thing off here.
Yeah, but to your point, every time he has come in, the first play, airmail. Almost every time.
South Carolina game comes in, to your point, who you talked about earlier, Oscar Delp, touchdown, and they were already up like 40 points in that game.
TCU.
And, TCU. Kirby has gotten to the point where it's your job to stop us. That's what he's thinking.
Mine. It's you versus me.
Yeah,
it ain't gonna be
kill or be killed. You know what I'm saying? And he's not gonna apologize. Listen, a lot of times, and it's totally different concept. But Knowshon, you'll know about this because you played in the wing tee in high school, like I did.
Mm-hmm.
You played in that wing tee offense.
You mean L?
What?
Listen, maybe for a receiver, L.
Yeah, we ain't doing none of that. Hey,
our coach used to say, listen, we used to get up big on people. And we'd start throwing the ball in garbage time, and he'd say, what do you want us to do? Keep running it on you? Because we've been running it all game. I feel like that would almost be worse for people if Georgia lined up and started just running it when they're up on those big deals right there, because the advantage that Georgia has is up front and just leaning on people.
Yeah, but the great thing about what he was doing, he's building up that confidence in your player. Like building that ice in your veins where it's like, bro, when we need you to go out there and throw one, we're going to need you to go out there and throw one. So it ain't no warming up. Like first play, you throwing that thing.
Yeah,
you know
loose, my boy.
So I like that. He kind of, instilled that in him, like where it's like, bro, we got to go out there and just sling that thing and don't think about it. No nervous tension going on here. So I like that Kirby did that throughout the season this year for sure.
Now, a little caveat. I said it's Carson Beck's to lose. It doesn't mean that Brock Vandagriff and Gunnar Stockton don't have a shot, because Kirby Smart learned. Great. But Kirby Smart learned
that spring game
from Stetson Bennett that athleticism and mobility are very, very important. And you don't get more athletic than Brock Vandagriff, and Gunnar Stockton, famously used his legs a lot in high school. Now it was at the AA level, and Brock Vandagriff is a faster quarterback than Gunnar Stockton. When you talk about straight 40 time, Gunnar time clocks in at a low 4.8, high 4.7. Brock's going to probably be a low 4.6 guy, over there. So neither one of them are straight line and fast as Stetson Bennett was, but they're both good athletes. I think you could see Carson Beck line up there and be a, high 4.8, low 4.9 guy, depending on, I mean, he can move, but he's not going to be just totally, running away from people. So that could play a factor into this. But here's the thing. I think cerebrally, Carson Beck is just head and shoulders above them, no pun intended, when it comes to operating the offense. I think Brock Vandagriff, from everything I've heard, has made a huge jump from last year to this year in terms of operating the offense. But man, I really think that Carson Beck, if he plays his cards right, he could be in for a big year, because TK, you mentioned it, you're getting the offensive coordinator back. At least that's what all signs are pointing to at this time. And it's all kinds of weapons on the perimeter with speed. Like, people don't realize Dominic Lovett, he could literally be the most dynamic receiver that Georgia's had since a Miko or a Isaiah McKenzie.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. It's so funny you said that. I'll scroll back up. I said he's a different type of receiver. I think he's different than anybody that we have on our roster right now, because he just moves different. He's a wiggle guy. So yeah, bro, I think that Dominic Lovett is that special. And to that point,
gotta show me.
Yeah,
he did all right.
You definitely gotta show me.
You talk about Dos Zapatos. Tyler Brennan saying Beck would be in there for the Heisman finalists.
Sir, you saying something there? I ain't gonna go. I ain't gonna say that. I ain't gonna say nothing like that. But Blayne, he does have a lot of weapons out there.
With all those weapons,
Dominic Lovett's one of them. And then I think his biggest weapon, you mentioned, is Todd Monken. Todd Monken is his biggest weapon, bro. Todd Monken is his biggest weapon. He's gonna put him in the right positions, bro. And if he is, and this is the only thing that scared me, I just don't want him to be a statue back there. Like, I just don't want him to be, because you can't be like that in our league, bro. It's too much shit coming off the edge, bro.
Well, he's not like a JT. I think you've seen in spring games and when he's been in there at other times, he's got a willingness to pull the ball down and run, and he can. Listen, you could have timed JT Daniels with a sundial going out there. Like, it wasn't, it just wasn't good.
But it ain't just like, it's you got to be able to escape the pocket, extend the play. Like, you have to be able to do that now, bro. If you have to,
no doubt, because so many exotic. Now, listen, that's one area where Tennessee's going to try to, if they could have, Stetson Bennett shut it down early because they went all out blitz down there by the goal line, and old Stetquavius, made the first dude miss, and then gave him the call me to the Tennessee fans after they'd been blowing him up all night when he hit the pylon. And then all of a sudden, those exotic blitzes that Tennessee's known for bringing, they weren't coming anymore, because you can't blitz what you can't hit. You know what I'm saying? So, so that kind of changed that. Now, I think up there in Knoxville, first time, road starter in that caliber of a game, that could be tough for whichever quarterback's out there. But I do see your point with Carson Beck. Also, one last thing on Dominic Lovett. With Kenny Mack being gone, y'all see Monken lining up Dominic Lovett in the backfield a little bit.
I know.
Mizzou did that a few times. Mizzou did that a few times, bro.
My backs better step up.
Mizzou, they better get the stepping in. Hey, they better get on that jugs machine, boy. Because look,
I like the creativity of putting it back there for sure. But
hey, listen, if we can get it done, if we can take a snap, you remember Dexter McCluster? Get jiggy.
Absolutely. Look for the Chiefs. Who's the running back for the Chiefs?
Jet McKinnon.
Yeah, McKinnon. They use McKinnon that way a lot too. So
we out here. You heard what I said. We do it all.
Okay.
No, listen, guys. The Georgia 2023 offense is going to listen. It shouldn't be slowing down a whole lot. They were one of the top offenses in the country. And I don't think that it's going to fall off too much. Now, listen, it's it's different when you got to replace a Heisman Trophy finalist.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, come on, you saying it ain't gonna fall much, but it ain't gonna be these 40-point wins and all these spreads. Well,
it could be early.
40 plus,
it could be
plus.
early. Man, it could be early because they face UT Martin and then South Carolina at home. Now, I think South Carolina is a team. Is a team that you just gotta always get up for mentally because of what that means and everything.
Yeah, you never know what you're gonna get with them.
But the problem for South Carolina is they just lost their 2 corners that were like island guys, shut down. One's going to be highly drafted. The other one had been there for a long time. They had some untimely portal exodus over there with Jaheim Bell and Marshawn Lloyd on the offensive side. So they're going to have their work cut out for them as well. But Georgia's real first challenge, I think, defensively, the team beat Kentucky at home on October 7th. That'll kind of be the first one because Kentucky always plays Georgia tough. Even last year, Kentucky wasn't very good. They played Georgia tough as nails. That's just how.
This schedule is kind of weak, though.
It's very cake-a-do.
It can. I mean, you gotta look at the old misses. Yeah, okay, I get it, but I mean, come on. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be a fun time. And listen, between now and then, we're gonna be breaking all these things down, and we're going to. And hey, Eric, I wasn't talking about Kentucky's offense. I was talking about Kentucky's defense. But Kentucky's offense, we'll be talking about that next week when we talk about Georgia's defense. It's changed a little bit.
Yeah, let's switch a
changed a lot over there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a little bit different. But listen, guys, we appreciate everyone tuning in. There's a bunch of people in here right now. Hit that like button, subscribe. It's absolutely free. We appreciate you guys coming in. We're going to have TK's working on us a little guest. We won't disclose who it is, but we're working on a guest that you'll like for next week. And so tune in with us. And guys, anything you want to leave with the fans before we depart here?
No, I'm good, man. You guys have an awesome week. Have a great week.
Knowshon, you happy to be over here on UGA Sports, rocking it out, talking Georgia ball?
Hanging, baby. We're going to be doing a lot more, man. Can't wait for it. I didn't forget about them gifts. We're giving out prizes. We're giving out some prizes. Got to give something else to some followers because we appreciate the love. For sure.
Ask them what they want. What y'all want?
Now, hold on now.
They can't do that.
They be like, let me get a house. Yeah, you can go get one. I'll sell you one. But now we got the gifts coming for sure. So stay tuned.
Listen, for Tavarres King, Knowshon Moreno, I'm Blayne Gilmer. This has been Georgia Players Section on UGAsports.com, and we will catch you guys next week, Wednesday night, 8:30, live. Going to have a special guest for you. Tune in.
The best in this sport. Whether you like it or not, learn to love it because it's the best thing going.